arrive in hustling, bustling San Blas, fight our way through the lunch hour rush, and barely squeeze through the traffic jam between the church and the plaza, caused by the chief of police when he double parks his bicycle to go to confession. We get through all the congestion without an accident and press onto the beach. The contortions of a chick putting on a bikini in the bus brings us to a halt. She ducks out of sight, so we take a look at the surfing scene as second choice. We've never tried this before, surfing that is, but the gentle waves and relaxed surfers make it look like a real snap, so there's only one thing to do. We're wasting time sitting here just looking, so we swing over to the local rental shop, which we find disguised as a dead palm tree. After about 5 minutes of diggering, which got us nowhere, we paid his price for the boards and headed for the water. Now today is Bobby's birthday, so he naturally gets first choice. And Bobby's choice is to climb up on a rock and be last. San Blas is probably one of the best places to surf in Mexico. We noticed the other surfers were paddling out on their knees, but it looked more comforting to us to paddle out on our bellies, and besides, it was easier. You can ride a wave here for as long as 1.5 miles, if you can ride a wave at all. On top of all of this, there's good places to camp along the beach, good skin diving, and plenty of fish. With Bobby sitting back on the rock, it gives Vaughn and I a chance to talk over some plans for Bobby's birthday party. We figure after we get enough surfing, we can swing down the beach, set up camp, get a jug of rum, mix it with a little coconut juice, and have a real blast. Now, we had always heard that hanging 10 was really super tough, but found it was a term tremendously overrated. It didn't take us any time to catch on. We did it right off the back of the board. Surfing at San Blas is very similar to surfing the Bonsai pipeline in the islands. The waves at both places are made out of water. Cocktails grow on trees here. All you have to do is grab a coconut, cut a hole in it, and add some of that good old $1 a bottle rum. Now, physical conditioning is of the utmost importance to a surfer. Paddling out to catch a wave, making long fighting rides on a pitching, twisting surfboard, then struggling with a savage undertow after falling off in 50 feet of water takes a lot of stamina. Well, here comes a lesson from the old expert himself. Time seems to run together here. One experience isn't clearly separated from another. It's not that we're in a hurry, because we've got all the time in the world. Each minute is so new and exhilarating you can't believe it. It sure beats working all week, boozing it up in some smoky bar, or sitting around watching the world go to hell in living color, and still ending up just before payday, flat broke as usual. That's only existing, not really living. We've spent less than $60 apiece since we left, and to think we used to believe we couldn't survive for a week without a payday. It's like coming into your second childhood and suddenly discovering that you hope you'll never have to grow up again. Kidding aside, if one could surf, and really surf well, it'd be one hell of a big blast. When these people make a firecracker, they don't screw around. They must have the biggest bangers in the world down here, man. When Vaughn went to the village after the rum, he really got carried away at the firecracker stand. In Mexico, fireworks are used for most any celebration and can be purchased about any place, any time. They work out great for Bobby's birthday party, but we make like a bunch of gringo litter bugs and trash up a whole bunch of virgin beach with little tiny pieces of paper. Vaughn's going to have to clean it up before he leaves. After all, he's the one that made the mess. We learned two things about surfing. One, it's not as easy as it looks. And secondly, it sure do make you work up an appetite. So it's time to head down to our seafood supermarket where everything is guaranteed fresh. After scratching around the bottom for a few seconds, I get another lesson. That's about rum and coconut juice. Rum and coconut juice definitely makes the fish faster and harder to see, the spear gun more difficult to aim, and your lungs about 3 sizes too small, so you can't hold your breath as long. The only advantage the rum seems to have is you don't worry as much about the bad underwater varmints like toothy sharks and fag octopi or them poisonous little spiny critters stuck on rocks. Everything seems to move too fast, so it's up to the top to look for something bigger and slower. Bobby felt since it was his birthday, Vaughn and I should go out and spare his birthday supper, and he wanted lobster. But after seeing the luck we were having, he decided he'd better start looking for his own lobster. Apparently we were in an area where the natives had been setting their lobster traps because we couldn't find a one, and they're usually plentiful along the rocky shoreline of the western coast of Mexico. Or maybe it was just the fact that the lobsters hadn't been drinking rum and coconut juice. Well, I finally found something bigger and slower. At least they look that way. But actually, sea turtles are quite fast when in their element. They have powerful fins and strong knife-like jaws. So when you're wrestling with one, you want to play it cool and not get the wrong end, or you might end up looking like you just got circumcised with an ice cream scooper. I was lucky and found this one feeding on some underwater plant life and managed to come up from underneath, getting a shot through the soft part of the shell, which is the only place the small rubber gun would have penetrated. Cleaning one out is easy. All you have to do is figure out if you want dark meat or white meat. Some prefer the darker meat, but I've always found the dark stuff just a little harder to chew on. But really, they're both fantastic. To cook it, all you have to do is wrap it in a banana leaf, dig a hole in the sand, put it in, cover it up, and build a fire on it. Then sit back and get ready for one of the best steaks you've ever eaten. There's only one piece of meat that'll beat a piece of turtle meat. But we weren't able to get any of that on our spears today.